What's going on, guys? So this video is going to be on VLDR. So VLDR, let's take a look at what we've got going so far. Let me get rid of this Ichimoku Cloud and TD Sequential. So, as of right now, it looks like we got a nice break, volume supported break, out of this pattern here, which is a target of $18. So this is on the 45-minute right now, and it looks like we're in a bull flag right now. So the lower resistance right now is right around 1236, or lower support rather, and the upper resistance is right around 1324. So if we look at the daily here, you can see we got this nice daily close to confirm this pattern, along with this beautiful volume coming in. So right now we're catching a lot of resistance here at this $12.98 to $13 level. We'll call it $13 level. Let me check the Ichimoku Cloud real quick. We're going to have a lot of resistance up at $14 even, and we're going to have a lot of support at $12.41. So if we look at the 4-hour here, one thing that we'll notice is that on the MACD, it's already crossed, right? It already crossed bullish, but it's starting to curve a little bit here, and the RSI is, pointing down a little bit, right? So those two things right there would be a sign of a potential drop, as well as this being straight across here on the RSI, higher on the left. Well, actually, the price action above, right? The chart is higher on the left, lower on the right. And as of right now, we're straight across. So that is bearish divergence. So it is showing me that it could potentially drop out of what I'm perceiving as a bull flag. So, we're going to keep an eye on this thing, because we're going to have support at this lower trend line at 1235. We're going to have support at this 1225, and then obviously our support down here at this 1187 as well. But we don't want to touch this thing. I don't want to touch this thing if it's going to keep coming down here again, even if it does ultimately create some type of inverse head and shoulders or cup and handle or something like that, right? So we're going to want to watch that as far as on the negative side. So if we look at the hourly though, although we have some bullish stuff coming in, we have these EMAs are crossing up, and we're getting squeezed between this 200 EMA, which is roughly that 1280, and this resistance line, this white Ichimoku Cloud, which this support line now was resistance, this red 1242. We have our 20 EMA coming up, our 50 EMA coming up, and our RSI got a nice hourly bounce here, right off of the bottom support. So that's kind of a good sign right there. So it does look like short term it wants to come back up potentially if it can get above this 1280 and test this upper support line. And we do have some resistance up here at 1350 as far as the 100 EMA there that's coming down. It does actually, in my opinion, on the hourly, look like it could be creating a cup and handle or a smaller inverse head and shoulders here, right? So of course we can come up here, it can double top, and then it can come down a lot lower. So what we're going to do, and what we want to do, is we want to keep an eye on this upper 1325 level. We want to look for a candle to blast through this level and get a nice volume spike as big as these over here. And if so, if we do see that and it starts looking pretty bullish here, then we're going to want to put an option call in on this thing. And I'm thinking to do, it's not going to probably be tomorrow, because right now on the 4-hour, I'm a little concerned, but I think we're going to get a bounce here personally. So if you want to do a short term, like day trade potentially, if you see this down at the 1235 to 1240 range, you could put an option call in for a $13 break even price, whatever that would be, if you wanted to do a short term thing, right? But if you wanted to do a longer term, maybe like June or something like that, May or June, then we could do a break even of, I would probably do a break even of like 14 or 1465 I was kind of eyeballing this 1465 level here for an option call. But I want to see, before I jump into any options or anything like that, I want to see how this is going to play out here. I want to see the correction that we get first. I want to make sure that we're going to hold this, keep continuing holding this 1240 level. I don't want it to break through or anything like that. And then if we can actually continue with what looks like to me like we're going to get a nice bounce here potentially, and I want to see, are we going to stay in here a little bit longer, or are we going to get a break? So, you know, we could wait for some confirmation above this 1364 before we put in an option call. It really depends on what you want here, what you want to do. So I'm going to be looking for an entry on an option call potentially tomorrow, and then as late as what's tomorrow, Tuesday, as late as Wednesday. So I do want to just put this one on your radar here, because it does look like it's trying to make a nice reversal here, and I would love to get in this thing you know, once it breaks some of this resistance here, because, you know, that's usually what causes our big pumps here. If we look over here on the left, when we were getting squeezed between all of these EMAs and all of this upper resistance, once we broke that resistance, which last time was right around this 1437 level, we got a very big pump. Then we had a dump, of course, right? Respected this resistance, and then we had our blast off there, right? So right now we had got above our resistance, had a blast off, had our dump, had a nice double bottom with bullish divergence, and now we're creating bearish divergence on the top here, right? Came down, but we're starting to bounce. So to me, this looks like a nice bull flag here, and my targeted move out of this bull flag here, let's take a look. Where am I? So from here to here, looks like, depending on when we would break it here, whether it's you know, to me it looks like we would break it sometime by April 12th, depending on how long we stay in here, sometime before or around April 12th potentially, right? So, and that breakout target is $15 even. So I'm thinking, if you guys want to do something like that, well, I mean, I'm saying for myself, I'm probably going to do some type of 1465 break even price here, and I think that if we can manage to break above some of this resistance here. So for me, I'm looking for an upper break of this 13 to 1325 area, 13 to 1330 area, because that's the daily 20 EMA, and I'd like to see us be able to get above that and start holding some support here, even if we're going sideways a little bit, testing this upper resistance versus where we are right now, which is technically testing the lower resistance here. So you know, we have this green red green formation. So I mean, to me, this kind of signaling a little bit of a bottom here short term around this 1262-ish, but we do know that we have this lower support of 1245 and 1235 really. So just keep all that in mind, with the potential of a drop too. If we did wick down to 1212, it's very possible, but you know, we just want to keep all of this in mind. But to me, it looks like we're gonna have a nice little run up here again here tomorrow potentially, and we have a lot more room to run up here. So I just want to put this one out there that I am looking for setting myself up for a nice option call that could have some pretty good gains here. So I want to kind of give myself some room for it to take some time to, if it takes a little bit of time to run, whether it comes back down, best test this 1350, then runs, or whatever it decides to do here. I want to try to set myself up, but I want to play it on a breakout. I don't want to get it while it's just sitting in here. So I'm looking for a break of potentially from 1328 to, if I want to really wait, $14. Obviously be a little more expensive up here, but we just want to make sure that this is going to work out in our favor and not screw us here. So you guys know my targets here, so you know what we've been kind of wicking up and just tapping as of right now is 1324. So for me, I'd like to see us right above this 1330 and start holding some support up here, and then I'll probably lock that option in there. Even if I have to buy it a little more expensive than here, at least I'm not risking that this thing just rolls over and drops all the way back down and this is a big fake here. But you know, for now, I'm feeling like we are getting some bullish momentum. We're finally getting some big volume here. We're having our moving averages crossing over here, and it does look like we are going to potentially have a nice break tomorrow, to be honest with you. Whether or not it breaks above this 1350 or not tomorrow, or 1330, that will be, I'll have to determine that tomorrow. But for now, I'm looking for us to run up here, and I'm going to see if we're going to catch support or if we're going to come back down here again and then break. And that's why I'm putting this out here now. I want you guys to keep this one on your radar here. If you're looking for an option call, I think this one will be pretty profitable, especially if this turns out to be an inverse head and shoulders. And if so, then we can even see our inverse head. Well, I don't know if it would be it could be. I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders, right? But it could just play out that it's a bull flag and break out, because it's kind of a strange, sideways kind of inverse head and shoulders, I guess. And I don't know if that's a normal thing to do or not, but I guess if that was the case, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it that. It does kind of look like maybe a cup and handle, though, potentially, but the cup isn't really. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just over analyzing it there. But needless to say, I'll start with just this. It looks like a nice bull flag here that could have a potential breakout here. So let's look for some support up in this 1330, some confirmation of some volume, and then I'm going to place an option call. So you guys know my plan there. I did a nice break, a nice trade today that I already closed on Riot, and I did one on. Actually, I didn't close my Riot one. Sorry. I still have that one open. I was thinking about closing it, but I did not close it. But I did do one on BTBT right here. I just added in all these things, so it looks pretty wild, but that was just for my own doing, because I've never even looked at this stock before. I had a buddy that's in it, so obviously it looks pretty messy right now. But, we had this beautiful spike up here, some beautiful volume that came in, and I noticed we were making this beautiful W here, and we were right at this lower support here, getting ready to break. We were starting to run up. We just caught support right here, right around this 1463. I threw an option call in with a break even of 1590, and we double kind of touched right here at 1686. I had a target of 1693 on that, so we didn't quite hit my target here. And I wanted, and this is the one I closed out my position on this one, and I'm going to keep an eye on some levels for it to come back test maybe this 1559 or maybe this 1526, and then maybe do another call here and we could run up a little higher. But that one, it was pretty good, 30% trade there. So yeah, this is what I'm just kind of doing right now. I'm not really buying stocks and holding them type of deal. I'm just trying to make these quick breakout trades, close my position, wait for some back test, retest with some support, and then I'm putting another call on, and then I'm going, and I'm just going to keep doing that while the markets are going to be a little volatile and a little crazy here. I can't really trust any of these movements here. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm going to just keep on loading in some gains. So yeah, that's just the next one I'm watching. So I just want to put that one out ahead of time so that this time you guys could get in on some shit that I'm doing, because most of the time I'm finding plays at lunchtime or so, and it's hard for me to put videos out there and let you guys know. That's why I've always said, if you can find me on TradingView here, you can see some of my stuff that I'm doing here. And I literally posted this one here as we were breaking out, and you can kind of see what happened here. Same with some other stuff here. So, just so you guys know, this is another place that you can see my posts and stuff, which I've been doing a lot of cryptocurrencies on as well. But, Bitcoin, watching all that, Riot, so on and so forth.